One of the advantages of getting older is you have a lifetime of people you've met, and stories you've heard, and adventures you've been on or heard about. And one of them I'm going to relate is from a guy named Jack, who we all called Yak for some reason. And Yak was a 70s kid. Grew up in South Florida in a middle-class neighborhood, middle-class family. And one time in 1977 or 78, as a teenager, his next-door neighbor walks over and says, "Hey, what are you doing this weekend?" And he goes, "Nothing." "You want to make some money?" "Oh, yeah." He's a teenager. So he says, "Okay, let me show you what we're doing." And he jumps in his car, and they drive a ways into town. And I don't remember exactly where he lived, but he was fairly close to the coastline, and it was not very far from kind of a swampy area. That's how we described it. And they drive into town and go to Waffle House or the equivalent thereof. And he goes, "Okay, we're going to start here, and I'm going to show you the route you're going to drive." It's all about driving. He's like, "Okay." So they leave the parking lot and drive out and get on a fairly big road. Go a short distance and end up on a smaller road, and then suddenly they turn off and he's on a dirt road into a swamp. But he drives down to where the road kind of ends by the water, and there's an abandoned house. And he says, "Okay, you're going to drive here, and then I'm going to show you how you're going to drive back." It's like, okay. And they drive back out, get on the main road, and basically complete a big circle. The total time using the car is about 35 minutes, and they end up back at Waffle House. And he goes, "This is the route you're going to drive." And he goes, "Okay." So early Saturday morning, he meets up with this guy. They go to Waffle House. They go sit in the back. This guy's got his back to the wall, and he's staring at the door. And he goes, "Order wherever you want. We're going to be here a while." And he's like, "All right." This guy keeps looking over Yak's shoulder, and then finally he writes a number on a piece of paper and says, "Here's what you're going to do. Get up, head out the door. On your left, there's a big guy with a hat on. Walk by his table. His keys are on the edge of the table. Don't talk to him. Don't look at him. Don't interact with him. Just take the keys. Go out in the parking lot. Get in the blue Chevy truck with the shell. Drive the route. You get back, park the truck wherever in the parking lot, walk back by his table, drop the keys off, and come sit down." Jack's like, "Okay." And he hands him that piece of paper which has a big number on it. He goes, "And put that on the dashboard." He goes, "Okay." So, as ordered, he gets up, turns around. Sure enough, there's a big guy, baseball cap, glasses. You can see the frame sticking out on the side. He's got a beard. The guy's huge, and he's like, "I'm going to walk by this guy's table. I'm going to take his keys, and that's going to be the end of me." And the guy's looking down. Yak walks by, takes the keys. The guy doesn't say a word. Walks out, gets in the truck, drives the route. The only difference is when he gets to the end of their dirt road, there's a bunch of, it looks like hay bales, but they're wrapped up. Piled all over the porch and all over the ground. There's two guys milling around. They kind of, The guy walks up, looks at the piece of paper on the dashboard, opens the tailgate and the camper gate, throws bales in the back of the truck, and then he bangs on the side of it, and Yak drives off, does the route, does exactly what he's told, pulls in the parking lot, walks by the guy's table, sets the keys down, sits back down again. A few minutes later, his employer says, "Two guys behind us, green Pontiac." Hands him the piece of paper. He makes the same run, does the same thing. This goes on until after lunchtime. Finally, when they're done, he goes, "Okay, we're out of here." And they drove back home, and the guy handed him $500. Now, this is $500 to a teenager in 1977. I said, so tell me, Yak, how'd that work out? He goes, "I worked for that guy until I finished high school. And when he got out of high school, which I believe was in 80 or 81, he left and bought a slightly used Camaro and had his entire college tuition paid for." And in case you didn't pick up on it, those weren't hay bales, those were marijuana bales. But I thought that was an interesting life experience to have. And when he got done working for the guy, he didn't do anything like that again, but it did pay for a big start in life for him. And I got a kick out of that story. All right, have a great day.